Screenshots and user reviews certainly give the impression that Antarctica 88 is the second coming of the classic 1980s horror film The Thing. The truth is far less exciting, but it's not all bad. Antarctica 88, or A88 as I'll call it, is a low-budget endeavor by indie Russian developer Euphoria Games, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have its charms. So let's get stuck in and see if this thing is worth playing. The first tip-off for what kind of game Antarctica 88 is going to be is its availability on Steam and mobile platforms. Mobile players can get the game for free with ads and monetization options that unlock weapons and stuff like that. Today we're going to be reviewing the PC version that I played, and your typical master racists suspect that a cross-platform mobile game means a very stripped-down experience with short levels and basic mechanics. They're unlikely to be dissuaded by what the 88 offers, but mobile players will likely be impressed. Let's get into the details so you can decide for yourself. So what is Antarctica 88? Put simply, it's The Thing, but more Russian and with far less scary monsters. Your father has been drilling for minerals in a snowy outpost. The communication was lost, so you travel there to find out what happened to him in the expedition. You soon find the expedition has unearthed some disgusting creatures who have overrun the outpost, and it's up to you to find your father and escape. Aside from a throwaway twist near the end, the plot is intentionally predictable and relies on the built-in tension of genre tropes. It's really just there to contextualize the action, which is fine, as this game simply seems to be interested in simulating a Thing-style scenario. The game does give off an awkward first impression, though, with tons of clipping in the first cutscene and for the first enemies I encountered. The backwards hands your main character has when he's getting up off the ground are medically concerning as well. Environments are dramatically lit and well detailed in terms of their functionality. A drilling operation looks like a drilling operation, a science lab looks science-y, and the levels are well detailed and the amount of gore splattered all over them as well. A really big shout out needs to go to the snow effects, because these in tandem with the ambient noise really sell the foreboding mood. The sound mixing is surprisingly masterful, and the score is tense, orchestral stuff that drives you forward at a frantic and paranoid pace. You should take the game up on its recommendation to wear headphones, as it really amplifies the experience. There's also a cool day and night cycle too that mirrors real life, so play at different times of the day if you want a more varied experience. Gameplay is essentially just killing monsters and collecting supplemental items to unlock or activate items to progress. You'll also intermittently drive snow vehicles on your way to larger objectives like activating a radio tower or sabotaging a lab. Along your journey, you'll acquire an axe, pistol, shotgun, machine gun, flamethrower, and grenade launcher. Gun feel is good, and the sound effects and the animations are above average, and I especially liked how the pistol and the shotgun handled. There's usually just enough ammo to kill whatever's nearby, but if you run out, you've got the axe as your inconsistent fallback. Its range is quite short, and so you'll have to crouch a little bit to hit the crustacean guys, and likely get hit anyway in this slow-moving state. You'll also get hit quite a bit trying to fight these big ogre dudes, because you have to get so close to even hit them that you defeat the purpose of your big axe, and have to rely on the spotty hit detection to hopefully hit them more times than they hit you. Even if you survive, you'll have lost copious amounts of health in this war of attrition. In short, guns be good, but the only thing survival horror about the game is pretty janky. Once the game opens up a bit, it's fine for what it is. Levels are straightforward, cleanly designed, and usually boil down to either a small area requiring some item hunting and switch flipping, or some corridor shooting. The first level in particular has an enjoyable escalation in puzzle design, as you have to find an axe to knock out some boards to get into a garage, but find the keys missing, there's no fuel in the snowmobile inside, and the action tree branches further as you go in search of those items. I expected this pattern of each level being sort of one big puzzle to continue, but was surprised that there's really only some light Half-Life style box stacking to get to high areas or some switch flipping from there on out. There are several optional objectives that pop up towards the end of the game that influence your ending, but they're not much fun to backtrack all the way to the beginning for, and none of them resemble the hardcore puzzles the Steam game promises. Aside from puzzling and shooting, there are two driving sections, one in a snowmobile you fix up and one in a big snow truck. The truck section is pretty much just you holding the drive button till you stop as some sort of palate cleanser, I guess, from all the shooting. But holy fuckballs, did I want to throw my computer over the same cliff I kept falling off of in my snowmobile. You'll have to slow down to a crawl to not fall off the edge in some very narrow sections, but also somehow know that you'll need to pick up enough speed right around the corner so you can make a jump or you'll fall straight down to your death. These abrupt changes lead to a lot of trial and error death, and it's not like getting the course right is some adrenaline rush. It's just sort of a filler that pays lip service to gameplay variety. So what about Antarctica 88 is appealing enough for its mostly positive score on Steam?
Good question.
There's not a ton of horror moments outside of some dark, interconnected caves you must traverse with your flashlight out, although there was one really good jump scare that nearly gave me cardiac arrest. There's a disarming inoffensiveness to the game that may be fooling some people into thinking not terrible is pretty good. The puzzles barely show themselves and the driving is fine, so it's mostly the shooting that has to carry the whole experience. But the guns feel good to shoot, and they remind me a lot of Killing Floor, a masterclass in that area. I do wish combat was complemented more by multi-stage item hunts or puzzles though, as I enjoyed those light brain teases when they did occur. While the actual mechanics aren't particularly satisfying, the pacing of the puzzles and the driving sequences in combination with combat are actually pretty well done, as I never felt like I was doing something for too long. Overall, should you buy Antarctica 88?
Good question.
On mobile, I'd say yes, as it's, free with ads, and it's a much more visceral game than you normally get to play on your phone. On PC, however, the bar is much higher for what's interesting and the game falls very much into the middle of the pack. The length of about 1.5 to 2 hours for $6 American may irk some folks. I never quite bought the you must spend hundreds of hours making even the most mediocre game to now have to sell several thousand copies to even break even, so charge whatever you want, and I'm sure the free market will sort it out for you. Although I can't wrap my head around how the actual factual Demogorgon model from Stranger Things shows up without provoking a lawsuit. But if you've got money burning a hole in your pocket or just want something to occupy your afternoon, you could do much worse. You could also do better by picking up Black Label's 2002 game, which will actually scratch your thing itch and not just remind you of it. Man, I should really find a copy of that thing.